This time I'm going to talk about working as a film and TV extra after I retired, and in some adverts as well. It was something I took up after I was forced to retire, although I had done a little bit of it before. I shouldn't call them extras, shouldn't call it extras really, because the proper way to refer to the job is supporting artist, and that sounds much more grand. I came across quite a few retirees doing this, and they'd had all sorts of jobs before. You could do this as well, by the way. There's no age barrier, and people of any and all ages, types, all ethnicities, everybody is welcome to try this. Just think of all the types of people you see in films. They've got to come from somewhere, and for TV and adverts. You don't even have to have any skills or any special talent, although both can help. And by special talent, I mean something that you can do that might be required or needed on screen. Might be roller skating, diving, playing some kind of musical instrument, dancing, being able to ride a bike, a horse, a unicycle, a skateboard, do archery, ballet, card tricks, speak a foreign language, ski, water or snow, and all sorts of other things. The way you look's a key feature. After all, it's a visual industry we're talking about. People are cast very much on the way they look, which is dictated by the appearance required of the characters in the story and how the film director wants things to look. Having said that, people of any and all kind of appearance are required because of that very variety you need. And that means from the highly distinctive to the really bland with everything in between. In my case, I'm pretty average build, maybe a little bit taller than average. I look quite old these days and have white hair and a white moustache. Those qualities come in handy. They're all needed for a variety of specific parts and scenes. Almost everybody doing this is registered with an agency, or more than one usually. There are general film extra agencies, as well as more specialist ones for children, for example. And I was with 3 or 4 general ones and 1 specialist one. That specialist one is called Ugly Models. That doesn't mean the people on its books are all ugly, and they do have all kinds on their books. This particular agency started by being able to supply unusual looking people to the film and TV industry. You want a tattooed or a bearded lady? You want an extreme bodybuilder? How about some dwarves? Somebody with loads of facial hair or body piercings and jewellery. 7-foot tall beanpole. Call Ugly Models. They're sure to have the look you want. I'm not on commission from Ugly Models, by the way, or any other firm that I might mention, but I did get some very good jobs through them. All the agencies do work on a commission basis though, and they take a cut out of the fees paid by the films industry for your services. And that can vary on the work you do and the types of production it is. There's industry standard rates for film and TV work. Advertising work is different, and there are additions and supplements depending on circumstances, even start times, and the length of the working day, and whether you have to interact with the main actors, and all sorts of other things. I'll give you an example. I did an ad for a betting firm. I had what is referred to as a featured part, which pays a bit over the standard rates, and being a similar build to one of the main characters, I was also asked to be a camera technical stand-in for him as well, which is when the scenes are set before they're filmed and they line up the camera and the lighting positions for the next scene. Then I was asked to do hand modelling, bringing up a mobile phone into close-up camera shot for the closing sequences of the ad. And it's more difficult than it sounds, and needed about 20 odd shots before I got it right. The close-up nature of the shot picks out the slightest unwanted tremor or shake or quiver, and we don't want that. Then the day went into overtime, because at the planned end of the day there were still 2 scenes that we hadn't done yet. So that day was quite lucrative for me. Standard day rate plus extra for a featured role, plus technical stand-in bonus, plus hand modelling bonus, plus overtime. It was a tiring day though, and it started at 9 in the morning and finished at almost 11 at night. Also, it was about 50 miles from home, so I still had an hour's drive to do to get there. Another very profitable job was a still photograph shoot for the cover of an in-flight airline magazine. So I turned up at the studio about 11 o'clock in the morning, late start. I did the job and was out of there before 1 o'clock. And that paid more than the standard day rate for filming on a feature film. It was about 3 times as much as I seem to remember. Also, I did about 1 hour's work on a comedy sketch show which had a similar financial reward. Maybe not quite as much. Any of you who've ever done any film work, film extra work, you'll know that these jobs are an exception from the norm. Very welcome ones, mind you. Usually, you have to turn up at the location very early. 6 in the morning is not unusual, sometimes earlier. You work all day until around about 6 p.m. and you go home tired, but well fed. All for the industry standard rate, which you can find at https://thecastingguide.co.uk/pay-rates. I'll put that address in the text below the video. And this work can sometimes be incredibly boring as well, with long waits between takes and repetitive takes until it's done exactly to the director's liking. They're in charge after all. And quite often, you're working on a location for 2 or 3 days and never even appear in the film. You've become a victim of the editing room. One job I did for 4 days, turned up on time each day, not too early in this one, I think it was about 8 o'clock. I got into costume, sat around waiting each day, never even got called to do anything at all. Still got paid though. And that's kind of the point. If you're retired and doing nothing much anyway, you might as well sit around doing nothing much and get paid for it. To be fair, it's not often you do nothing. I mentioned being well fed earlier. One good thing about film work is the food. Almost always good and plentiful as well. And there's usually tea, coffee, soft drinks, water, snacks available right through the day. So you won't go hungry. When you turn up at the start of the day after checking in, you're virtually always told, go and get some breakfast and we'll call you when we want you for makeup and costume and to get on set. And interestingly, no matter what the start time is, even on night shoots, this first meal is almost invariably called breakfast. Another good thing is that you meet lots of new people of all kinds and sorts, all types, all ages, and there's a possibility, chance would be a better word, of progressing within the industry if you're that way inclined. I became friends with a girl on that job I mentioned earlier where I did nothing for 4 days. She progressed to better parts, started working behind the camera as well, and now, this is 7 or 8 years later, she's a producer for Channel 4. She's done that for the last 3 years or so. I've been on James Bond films, Mission Impossible films, Marvel series films, and I've been on set with Tom Cruise, Gal Gadot, Michael Caine, Paul Whitehouse, Rebecca Ferguson, quite a few others. But again, that's the exception rather than the rule. You don't often meet the stars. I've sweated in winter clothes in the summer and frozen in summer clothes in the winter. And of course I've been in various TV shows and ads, and I've even been the front cover, even been on the front cover of a bus timetable. Fame. One film was shot in such hot weather that the assistants were coming around giving us ice packs and bottles of cool water and the like so we didn't expire. The fact that I was dressed as a Russian peasant in the depths of a Russian winter, this was in July, didn't help. I hope this has been interesting for you. I'd like to hear about it if it has, in the comments below. And I'd also like to hear if you've done any of this sort of work yourself and what you thought of it. Maybe you still do it. I'm sure others would be interested to hear your experiences and views. So don't be shy. Let us know below. That's all for today. I've got plenty more on this subject, but I'll save that for some other time. Thanks for watching right through to the end, And don't forget to like and share if you feel able. Thanks again. Bye for now. See you in the next one.